Let's first call up the federal candidate for Ag Commissioner. All right, go ahead.
My name is Josh Holdcamp, and I'm running for Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce, and I'm a Fed. Unlike all the other opponents I've been faced with, none of them even grew up on a farm and don't even have any experience. I have. I currently grow over 500 head of beef cattle, and I also have 180,000 chickens that I grow for Pico. Pico buyer is the number one, Pico's number one buyer is Buffalo Wild Wings. So if you like Buffalo Wild Wings, vote for me. As you can see, I have the experience you need for your Ag Commissioner, and I actually know what's going on in the Ag, and I'm going to take that Ag money, and we're going to better Magnolia with it. I got wings. You want wings? Vote for me. Go Feds.
All right, the Nationalist candidate for Ag Commissioner.
Hello, I'm Caleb Bowen, and I'm running for Commissioner of Agriculture. Now, y'all don't know much about me, but I, in fact, do live on a farm. I am in the timber business. We don't, sell it, but the government pays us to grow it. Most of my family, previous to me, has all been farmers. My grandfather sold vegetables and back and back. Now, the main issues in the agricultural industry right now are the climate changes are causing the EPA to set regulations. Now, this is going to raise taxes, which will increase the price of food. As Commissioner of Agriculture, I will help to keep these regulations low so the prices won't go up, so everybody can have food. I think it is the basic right of all humans to be able to get food at an affordable price so they do not starve. And so I am committed to making sure that the farmers and ranchers, the backbone of our country, can continue to provide safe food and wood at the cheapest possible prices to the citizens of Magnolia while maintaining the utmost in consumer confidence. Caleb Bowen.
All right, Ag Commissioner candidates, both of you come back to the podium. Have a question. Both of you will get an opportunity to answer the question. There will also be an opportunity for rebuttal. All right, since we went first in speeches to the Federalist, we'll go first in question to the Nationalist. Candidate, explain the interrelationship between the price of gasoline or diesel fuel and the price of food to the consumers and how that impacts agriculture.
All right. Well, corn is used for biofuels, diesel. Corn is also used for food. So these together contradict with each other. You have to find a balance between what you want to use for food, what you want to use for gas. Now, this affects everybody, and it's a big deal right now, and that's the reason biofuels aren't as big as they should be. Now, there's several things to do about this. We could perhaps switch to other sources of biofuels that aren't used as food. There are several alternatives being looked at right now, and until that time, we just have to find a balance.
All right. Now to the Federalist candidate, explain the interrelationship between fuel prices and food prices and how that impacts agriculture in Mississippi.
All right, as everybody knows, tractors, you got to get your corn, or they run on diesel. So, if diesel's high, farmers are going to be spending more. So the price of your corn and your food and all your other agriculture products is going to be going up because I got to sell them more to pay for your diesel. So instead of buying diesel or gas, petroleum, whatever, from foreign countries, how about we just go up to Alaska and go get our own fuel, man? about we just say no to all the bunny huggers up there and we just go get our own fuel, man. And by doing that, our gas will be cheaper and our corn will be cheaper and everybody will get their food cheaper. So instead of using corn as ethanol, I mean, we just use it and you can eat your corn, man. And that corn, you go into your cows, man. Everybody likes their cows. Everybody likes 100% certified Angus beef steak. I mean, if your corn's cheaper, they're feeding their cows cheaper, your steak's cheaper.
All right. Do you desire a rebuttal?
I would just like to state the gas in Alaska is not the same as what is being produced by corn. They don't even work in the same engines.
Do you desire a rebuttal?
This dude's talking about biofuel, which is using corn. I'm not talking about using corn as that, because as fuel, because I mean that's for the bunny huggers, man. We want to feed our corn to the cows and eat our steak. So he's talking about biofuels, which is wasting the corn and using it for ethanol, and we're just going to go get our own fuel, and we're going to make our own diesel, and we're going to feed our corn to the cows, and we're going to eat our steak.
All right. All right, second question. We'll go first to this candidate. Both of you have mentioned the two leading cash crops in Mississippi, poultry and timber, in your opening remarks. What are the other crops that are the bedrock of Mississippi agriculture?
Out in Mississippi, as most of you used to know, we were the king of cotton. It's not so much no more, but cotton is it's coming back. And I already mentioned my poultry, man. I got wings. And the bunny huggers, they banned hog production a few years back, and if it was my decision, I'd get us hogs back, so we got pork, but I mean, we ain't got that no more, so I ain't gonna worry about that. But we also got wheat and soybeans, and we also got corn, and that's gonna go to all our cows, and we're gonna eat our steak, and that's gonna go to the chicken feed, and we're gonna eat our wings.
All right, same question. We've mentioned timber and poultry. What are the other bedrock crops in Mississippi agriculture?
As he stated, soy is very important, corn. We grow a little bit of rice in the Delta, but not very much. It's not a major crop. We were a major exporter of catfish, because that's what we got in Mississippi. We have catfish farms. And we have seafood on the coast, which is also, the coast is rich, really rich. And that's a huge money opportunity for us.
All right, rebuttal.
Hey, just remember that chicken, them wings, and that steak, and we gonna eat.
Rebuttal.
All he's got is wings, man. I mean, it's not much. He doesn't know his stuff.
All right, gentlemen. Let's give both of our candidates for Ag Commissioner an applause. All right. Next, we'll hear from our candidates for the office of Commissioner of Insurance. First to the podium will be the Nationalist candidate.
Wayne Goodman, Benjamin Lawsky, Ralph Hudgens, Adam Ham, and Leslie Newman. Do these names ring any bells? No? No one? I'm James Valentine, and I think it's kind of weird that as guys, most of us know all 5 members of One Direction, but can't name one Commissioner of Insurance. So what does Commissioner of Insurance do? Commissioner of Insurance works for the State Insurance Department, executes all laws related to insurance companies, associations, corporations, and fraternal orders, their adjusters. He also serves as the state fire marshal. So if elected as your Commissioner of Insurance, I want to save you money. I believe I can better the state of Magnolia by expanding flood insurance and building more efficient housing that can better withstand natural disasters in the future. If elected as your Commissioner of Insurance, I would strive to make a healthy environment for investors to operate in. I would also keep insurance companies from raising their premiums and committing fraud. But just to remind you, this isn't about nationalists or federalists. This is about you, the citizens of Magnolia. So thank you, and vote for Valentine.
All right, next we'll hear from the Federalist candidate for Insurance Commissioner.
My fellow Magnolians, my name is Reed Wilson, and I'm the Federalist candidate for Commissioner of Insurance. Now, how many of you pay for your own car insurance, pay part of your own car insurance? Anybody? So you know that girls come out paying less for car insurance just because they're girls. Are we the ones texting and driving? Yeah. As Commissioner of Insurance, I'll eliminate the male bias because that just makes sense. I'll also put an end to out-of-state insurance companies screwing Magnolia citizens unnecessarily just because they're big business and don't care about us. We need to keep insurance in-state to promote jobs and promote our economy and to protect our citizens. And although, yes, saving money is important, as saving the public funds is one of government's chief responsibilities, the Commissioner of Insurance does a lot of consumer protection as well as that, cutting back. So I'll be the advocate for the people. And Federalist, Nationalist, I've co-authored a bill with a nationalist senator and a nationalist, and so I believe in what's best for the state, not what's best for one party, because in the end, the people are what matters. So I'm not going to drag this out. If you'd like to go in depth on anything I've outlined or learn more about my platform, feel free to come up and talk to me. Remember to read between the lines and vote Reed Wilson for Commissioner of Insurance.
All right, we will go first with the questions to the Federalist candidate for Insurance Commissioner. The concept of uninsured motorists has been vexing in Mississippi for decades. The legislature in recent years required that all of us have proof of insurance, but that still hasn't really addressed the issue of uninsured motorists. If you become involved with an accident with someone who doesn't have insurance, you're still left with a major repair bill and having to access uninsured motorist coverage on your own policy. What's your idea to address the ongoing problem of uninsured motorists in Mississippi?
Well, uninsured motorists have to face a penalty for refusing to pay that fee monthly to protect themselves. And so I propose when uninsured motorists are caught, and in fact, I believe that should be a part of the vehicle inspection process, is a check of insurance. They should pay hefty fines, and those fines go into a fund for those who get in crashes with uninsured motorists, so that can defray the cost of the crash.
Same question. How would you address the problem of uninsured motorists if you're elected?
If I'm elected and people are caught at roadblocks or getting their inspection stickers, I say that their licenses should be revoked, okay? Because It's dangerous, and it's unsafe, and it's disgusting, frankly.
Here's a question I'll direct first to you. After Hurricane Katrina, there was an ongoing public policy debate and legal debate about the question of wind versus water, i.e., was the damage to the homes down on the Gulf Coast caused primarily by the winds of the storm or by the storm surge? The answer to that question had a tremendous amount to do with who was covered and who was not. The subject of flood insurance has been mentioned. What's your idea to better protect Gulf Coast citizens on the question of wind versus water?
I think that combining wind and water into one insurance would probably be the most beneficial for those that are on the coast.
Okay, is that a matter of legislative policy at Congress or the state legislature, or is that something that should be worked out in free markets?
I would say state legislature.
Same question to you.
First of all, I would say free market. I believe that an in-state insurance company that we have already should be incentivized to provide affordable flood insurance to those on the Gulf, also combining both water and wind insurance. Because, I mean, if your house gets torn up in a storm, it doesn't matter what did it, it's still gone. In Hurricane Katrina and in the standard floods that we have, property damage is a huge setback, and so I think we should also insure the business owners' property, that we can start a fund to give loans to those businesses in order to help them restart after that. And if your business gets back up and running, then you can rebuild your house a lot easier, and it helps promote the economy, in which case there's less need for insurance.
All right, real quick, delegates, help me out with a visual for these candidates. If you're from Hernando, anywhere in DeSoto County along the Tennessee line, stand up. Just stand up. If you're from the Gulf Coast, stand up and raise both arms. All right, gentlemen, you've got a visual now. You've got some guys from the Tennessee line. You've got some guys from the Gulf Coast. If we address wind versus water in free markets or through congressional action, the rates that the guys from North Mississippi pay on their home insurance are going to increase to subsidize an expansion of wind versus water comprehensive coverage. So tell both groups, the North Mississippians and the Gulf Coast residents, why it's equitable for the guys in North Mississippi to subsidize the guys who want to live and have a nice view of the Gulf Coast through their insurance rates. I'll go first to you.
Well, as I mentioned, the private insurance would be a buy-in only if you really felt like you needed it. So for those Gulf Coast residents, you would be able to buy into that insurance fund and have that available. But since it's a free market and not government mandated, then everyone else wouldn't pay the price for that. And because they shouldn't be penalized for others' wind damage. You know, it's a state issue. However, we can't make everyone pay for one person's house being blown away.
Response?
I think that as a state, we should be accountable for all things. So if it's wind or water, we should all be willing to pay, because this is our fellow state, and I think that all of us should band together and have to pay the price.
All right. Do you desire any rebuttal to the questions?
I do not.
Do you desire any rebuttal to the questions?
Well, I was just going to say, the very idea of insurance is that everyone pays in to a fund that only a few people need. And insurance is a great thing. It saves families and individuals a lot of money. But we can't have corrupt insurance. We have to have accountability in the insurance industry. And legislative mandates for insurance, that opens the insurance companies to be able to corrupt to corrupt their treatment of citizens because of their that they don't have to be accountable to the citizens. So I believe that it should be the people's choice, and that they should choose who they feel is the right leader in managing that insurance money.
All right. Let's give them a round of applause, gentlemen. Thank you. You can be seated. Gentlemen, you can be seated. All right. Let's now move to the office of State Auditor. We will call first to the podium the Federalist candidate.
Good morning, gentlemen. Today is a very important day for us. Today is the day we elect the Big Eight. Now, I could go on and on all day and tell you why I'm perfectly qualified, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cut to the chase because you guys want to hear the truth. I'm going to always tell the guys the truth. And I know you guys cannot stand when someone stands up here and bores you the whole time. With that in mind, I know I'm the best candidate for state auditor because I'm a proven leader with laser-focused dedication. For those of you who don't even know, the state auditor is the primary auditor and comptroller for the state of Magnolia. As the state auditor, I will work for the people and with the government to create the most efficient use of our state funds. Now, with that in mind, I currently command over 150 cadets in a #1 ROTC unit. Now, that's impressive. So leadership is not a question. I have countless leadership positions. I'm an extremely good leader. I know what it takes to be a leader: dedication, confidence, and hard work. Our great state of Magnolia, we need a dedicated, focused leader. I will ensure that our finances are properly handled and spent according to the laws of the state of Magnolia and in accordance with the Attorney General. You need a leader that is going to step up to the plate and take charge. And remember this: vote Clausen for state auditor, and I will ensure that our funds do not go underwater.
Thank you. Now the Nationalist candidate.
Thank you and good morning. I am Seth Dickinson, and I am a candidate for the office of State Auditor. Now, throughout the past few days, many of you have come and asked me, what is the State Auditor and what does the State Auditor do? The State Auditor works to independently assess local and government entities to ensure that public funds are properly received, are legally, effectively, and efficiently spent and accounted for. It's actually quite a simple principle. The Auditor's Office works as a layer of trust between the people and the government. The primary purpose of the Auditor's Office is to ensure transparency regarding the transaction of public funds. But I'll be honest, as I was thinking of exactly what to say, I became lost. There are so many things I would love to say, but for some reason I kept drawing a blank. That is until I saw a bumper sticker on a vehicle riding around campus. When I saw it, it instantly applied itself. Whether you be an independent, a nationalist, or a federalist, it applies. The bumper sticker said, "This is our state. We are Magnolia. Magnolia can only go as far as we take her. This is our state. Magnolia is what we make it." As a candidate for auditor, I recognize the potential divide between the two parties. I also recognize the bridging the gap effect that the auditor's office has. When dealing with the duties of being auditor, there's no influence by party politics because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. It is my goal to ensure that the people know. One of the major themes of this week has been people's rights. I believe that one of the most important rights people have is the right to know. The right to know where their money goes and how it gets there. If you believe in transparency in state government, then I think the choice is clear. Let's join together to move our great state forward. Let's join together and elect me, Seth Dickinson, the next state auditor. Thank you.
All right. First question will go to this candidate. The state auditor enforces a very complex set of rules regarding the handling of public funds. They audit cities, they audit counties, they audit state agencies. There are two primary types of violations. There is criminal conduct, where someone has stolen or misused public funds, and then there are technical violations where people make mistakes in the handling of those funds. The distinction between those two is the difference between a deputy clerk in Tishomingo County going to the penitentiary, or that same clerk getting training through the Office of the State Auditor to learn how to handle the money appropriately and to not make that mistake again. All of that is prefaced to the question, should the goal of the state auditor be to rack up as many arrests of public officials as possible as a message to those who handle public funds not to steal, or should the goal of the state auditor be to train those who handle public funds so that they know how to do it in the appropriate way and they use that training as they operate in the future? What's your idea there?
Well, my idea of that is pretty self-evident. I believe that the state auditor should work to train everyone. Now, I do know people make mistakes, and that's all right. As long as we go out there and we can prove that what's right is right, and if somebody did the wrongdoing, if somebody had the audacity to take from the people of the state of Magnolia, I do believe they should be held under the fullest extent of the law. So to answer your question simply before the little yellow light goes off, we, as a state, should train.
Okay. Same question to you.
I believe that what he said is also true, but we also need to hold accountable the city clerks in the cities and the counties that do that. You, the people, it is your money. You don't want your money being misused whatsoever. And those city clerks in those counties, they should already be trained in that job. If they're hired as that, they should be trained. Now, minor mistakes, that's the thing. But sometimes there's mistakes that are above minor, and they need to be held accountable, and they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
All right. Rebuttal?
Well, Mr. Candidate, we agree on something. I hope the others can say that. But like he was saying, and I'm just going to further, I thank him for reiterating my point. Everyone needs to be held accountable, including us as the candidates for state auditor. Everything needs to be transparent and out in the open. Like the speaker yesterday said, all cards up.
Rebuttal?
The Office of the State Auditor is to ensure that public funds are to be spent in a manner. We are not here to train people. We are here to ensure that public funds are spent in according to the state of law, state laws of the state of Magnolia.
All right. Second question. Second question first to you. Obviously, the role of the state auditor in maintaining accountability with public funds and in training has been outlined, but the state auditor performs other functions, functions that have a great deal to do with the success or failure of public education in Mississippi in terms of looking over how attendance figures are accounted for in the public schools. In Mississippi, education funding follows the students, so the number of students actually attending a school has a great deal to do with how much money that school receives in operating funds. What is your attitude about ways to improve accountability in the state auditor's supervision of school attendance policies?
First of all, attendance in school is a very important thing. If you don't attend, you can't learn and you're not going to learn. And also the schools rely on the money from the state auditor, that the attendance levels of the students. So as the state auditor, I would ensure that the students do attend and that we train the schools and we tell the schools, not train them, but tell the schools that attendance is very vital to the education and that monies towards education is the biggest priority.
All right. Yes, sir. Same question.
Maintaining accountability is something we've both agreed on. Now, school attendance is a very important issue, and if schools are having lower attendance, I think a state auditor, we should hold their iron to the fire. Let's get students in school and make sure that we get the funding following the students and a proper education for all Mississippians. I'm a strong proponent of public education. I believe in the future of children in education. I believe as state auditor, we should train schools to get out there and get our students in so we can receive a proper education.
All right. Rebuttal?
I believe that the state auditor should consult with the Attorney General on enforcement of attendance in schools instead of training.
Okay. Rebuttal?
Mr. Candidate, you said you were in the ROTC.
Yes.
Is that not a training program?
Yes, it is. It is a leadership training program.
Leadership training program. I believe we should train people to be leaders.
Yes.
Leaders in the community to go out and get the students.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. Take a seat. Good job. All right, come to order. The next candidate to speak will be the candidates for the office of State Treasurer. We'll call first the Nationalist candidate.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Garrett Scott, and I am the Nationalist candidate for State Treasurer. I'd like to start off by describing what it is that a treasurer does. The central and primary roles include being the state banker and the state money manager. As the state banker, the treasurer oversees all withdrawals and deposits from the state and local government agencies, and he reports records of all state debts and credits to the Congress. As the state money manager, treasurers must carefully invest state's pooled money accounts into steady growth stocks, bonds, and securities. All of the money earned in these ways are used for the compensation of state employees. So, on to me. I am from Tupelo, Mississippi. I attend Tupelo Christian Preparatory School, or TCPS for short. At TCPS, I learned many leadership skills, some actually specific to the treasurer. I am the treasurer for the TCPS chapter of the National Honor Society, as well as the president of the class of 2014 at TCPS. So I'm well equipped to build the treasury up and give the great state of Magnolia the economic prowess that its hardworking people deserve and, most importantly, need. As I represent the Nationalist Party, I am obsessed with doing what is best for the people. I'm more willing to lead bipartisan efforts and to lead this state to the place it needs to be. I have no quarrel with the Federalists, and in fact, I have a few friends who are of the Federalist Party. So I would hope that as I am able to set aside my pride, that you, the Federalists, are willing to set aside yours to help me help you. For you are a part of the people, and the Nationalist Party is of the people, by the people, and most importantly, for the people.
All right, thank you. Now the Federalist candidate.
Hello, my fellow Magnolians. I'm Nathan Tidwell. I'm running for state treasurer. I could go on for a while about how I'm qualified for this position, and but I just don't think that would do. After all, it's not about me. It's all about you. It's all about the citizens of Magnolia and protecting you and protecting your money. I promise to not practice deficit spending, keep us out of the hole. I think the best thing to do with our money is keep it safe. I mean, I'll be held accountable. I'll make sure that we get everything done. And I promise to stay on budget and, as I said, protect our state's money, which is your money. Nathan Tidwell for State Treasurer. Thank you.
All right. All right, both candidates back to the podium, please. We will direct the first question to the Federalist candidate. State Treasurer is in charge of investments for the state of Mississippi. Every teacher, every college professor, every fireman, every policeman, every city worker, county worker, state worker, all are eligible and most participate in the public employees retirement system. In order for that system to remain sound, the actuarial return required is somewhere around 8%. Since the recession that began in 2007, 2008 began, that return has not kept pace. Obviously, if investment of public funds doesn't perform in the market as it should, that produces some rather profound problems for the whole of Magnolia government. What's your attitude about the appropriate way for public funds to be invested?
Well, after all, I think it's very important if people have worked really hard all their lives to enjoy retirement. Since it's a shame that over the years 8% has dwindled down a little bit, and I think we should really invest our funds into proper stocks and whatnot. I mean, after all, these people worked hard all their lives. I already said that, and I just think.
Let me help you a little with the question. Should, if you need that 8% return, should public funds, you go with high risk, high yield, which means that some investments carry more risk, but if they pay off, they provide more reward, or should you invest those funds conservatively for more of a guaranteed return on the investment? Are you a conservative investor, or are you a high-yield speculative investor?
Well, I think since over the years it started to dwindle, we should be high risk. Not completely. We should still keep some of our funds safe and conservative, but I believe if we were going to get our money back, we need to go high risk.
All right, same question to you.
I believe one of the a very efficient way we can build up the Treasury is to invest pooled money into bringing industries into the state of Magnolia. I believe that that is the best way we could do that, because it not only brings jobs and job security into the state of Mississippi, but Magnolia, excuse me, but it also, off of those investments that we made, the interest that we get, it also builds up the Treasury so that these people that work their whole lives for the state can enjoy their retirement.
Okay. Let me give you a follow-up as well. You talked about investing public funds and bringing jobs to Magnolia. Is there a line, should there be a line between investing in new jobs and sort of giving away the store, as it were, by investing too much and providing too many incentives to private companies to produce those jobs? What's your attitude there?
Well, what comes with budgeting, and budgeting comes with the treasurer position, you have to successfully budget all your money correctly, and we'll set aside the money that we need to invest, and once we get to that point, we will stop investing, and so that there will always be a good amount of money in the Treasury.
Rebuttal.
I agree that we should set aside funds. After all, it was a stance of the Federalists on issue number 4. I don't know if you all remember that, but we decided whether or not to dip into that remaining fund, and if we did decide to dip into it, then it would be eliminated, and we'd be good off for the next 3 years or so. But if we didn't, and we might have to suffer a little bit, some government agencies might have some cuts, we would still be able to later on for the next 100 years, I believe it said, have a stable fund just in case anything crashes. So I believe we should look out for the welfare of future generations, not just ourselves.
Any other remarks? Rebuttal?
The Nationalist Party also agreed to build up that trust fund, and so in turn it would build up the Treasury. And so Nationalists also agree with that stand.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. Next, we will hear from the candidates for Attorney General. First to the podium, the Federalist candidate.
Good morning. I'm Brad Hudson. As many of you know, first off, I would like to thank you for getting me this far into the race, and I would also like to thank the American Legion for giving us this opportunity to be here. Hope that all you guys are having fun with all the sports, the speakers, and the formation. Well, maybe not the formations. But now it is time to get serious and vote for the leaders we believe can best serve the state of Magnolia. As most of you know, I'm learning for the Office of Attorney General, who is the chief legal advisor and officer for the state on both civil and criminal matters. The Attorney General has the sole power under Magnolia to bring or defend a lawsuit on the state's behalf. Now I will tell you what experiences qualify me for this position. During my high school career, I have served nearly 4 years in my JROTC unit as a leader, with my current job being the executive officer, whose duty is to advise the commanding officer in matters pertaining to the cadets. I also have law enforcement background, with my father serving nearly 40 years in the law enforcement agencies across the state. I want to tell you something a little bit about myself, personal story. When I was around the age of 13 on November 19th, 2009, my father was shot in front of my very eyes. My father lived through that day, and overall our lives changed forever. This is my drive behind my desire to become the Attorney General, so no person would ever have to go through what I went through all those years ago. No criminal should go unpunished. Murders and attempted murder cases in Magnolia are near 50% more than the national average. As Attorney General, I will implement new programs that would investigate and prosecute would-be murderers and attempted murders before they could commit the crimes, saving countless lives and ultimately lowering the crime rate. My top priority of the Attorney General is to represent the people of the state of Magnolia. At the end of the week, there will no longer be Federalists or Nationalists, only Americans, but most importantly, Mississippians. Be rad, vote for Brad.
All right. Now the Nationalists. Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you to each of you who voted for me yesterday for Attorney General. I am sincerely humbled that you were willing to participate in the process and put your faith in me to serve you in our great state of Magnolia. I'm asking you once again to give me your support when you vote this afternoon. Gentlemen, we come together in a defining moment in Magnolia's history. Together, we face a series of problems that seem insurmountable: a failing economy, a hurting education system, a healthcare system in shambles, a looming energy crisis. But even under these circumstances, I'm hopeful. Hopeful because these issues can be addressed and solved if we work together. Not just the Nationalists or the Federalists, but the Independents. In our great state of Magnolia, to lead into a future of amazing possibilities for our children and grandchildren. Everyone who loves our state can look at my platform and see that it includes real solutions for real problems. By supporting my candidacy, you're endorsing a unifier, a leader willing to reach across the aisle and shake hands with others who offer real solutions, no matter what the party designation next to his name. So please remember, when you go to the polls this afternoon, remember to like loading on your ballot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Both candidates back to the podium, please. Let me have the first 4 guys on this row up on stage real quick. Quick. Come up on stage, quick.
This looks fun.
All right. The Attorney General is in charge of prosecuting death penalty cases in Magnolia. Here's how the death penalty works in Mississippi. You're convicted of murder in one of the 82 counties. Then you go to the penitentiary. Then an appeals process begins in the state court system. A simultaneous appeals process then begins in the federal court system. Many of the death row inmates in Mississippi have been on death row for longer than 25 years. They go up the elevator on state appeals. They go up the elevator on federal appeals. If any substantial point of law changes in the appeal, they go back to square one and start back up the elevator again. If there is a Supreme Court ruling that affects all death penalties in the country, they go back to the bottom and start over. I've covered 2 death penalty cases that went in excess of 28 years. Now, when you get down to the lick log at Parchman, they take the inmate into a room, they strap him to a table, it looks very much like a cross. In one room, there's the victim's family. In another room, there's the condemned man's family. Then there's the state of Mississippi, represented by this gentleman, who is standing by the telephone in case there's a reprieve, and if there's not, he gives the order to begin the process. A drip goes into the inmate's arm, chemicals are released, 6 minutes later, he's dead. Now, y'all can go back to your seat. Gentlemen, what an awesome responsibility as Attorney General to decide, A, to prosecute someone on penalty of their life, and B, to either salve the wounds of a crime victim's family, or to take all that an inmate's family has. And then there's that fundamental question of fair trial. There's that fundamental question of were the rights of the accused observed? Given that, and we've heard a little from you already on that point, so I'm going to start here with that question. Given that backdrop, how will you handle the death penalty in the state of Magnolia?
Yes, thank you. Well, we're already in debt. The cost to put someone to death using the lethal injection costs more than all the court, lawyers, the court fees, and even to hold him for life in prison. As I'm pro-life, and I would feel like I would be a hypocrite if I believed in the death penalty. I believe every human being has a right to life. I don't condone the death penalty in any way at all.
Okay.
I feel like it's a waste of money and immoral.
Okay. Same question to you. How would you handle the death penalty in the state of Magnolia?
Well, overall, when we consider the facts and the statistics, I'm for life. I don't believe in killing. I don't believe in having the power to end someone's life without their consent. Well, not consent, but without their side of the story per se. While it is costly to condemn someone to a death penalty, it's overall more expensive to keep them for life in prison. You have to pay for the food. You have to pay for their food, the health care that they receive in jail, and as well, not even including the amount of money it's costing to put these guys in these positions, just keeping them there for all those years, for 70-plus years of their existence. So, while I believe that killing is indeed wrong and is not right in this world, for the state of Magnolia, it is overall cheaper to go with the death penalty of lethal injection, which is $84. $84 for just the dose, the chemicals for the lethal injection.
All right. Real world example. I deeply respect your beliefs and your right to your beliefs. But if you're elected Attorney General, you don't have the option of whether or not to pursue the death penalty in this state because it's the law of the land. So how do you balance, and this happens to people when they're elected to office, their personal beliefs come in conflict with the law. How do you handle balancing your personal beliefs with the oath you take to enforce the laws of the state of Magnolia, which include imposition of the death penalty when warranted?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm for like a bipartisan situation between the Federalists, Nationalists, Independents. If we come to a vote, I represent you. I don't make your decisions for you. I would take it to a vote. If y'all are for the death penalty, then we'd have to do it. If you're not, then we won't.
Fair enough.
People's Party.
All right. You mentioned in your remarks that you've had firsthand experience with crime. There is, one would assume, a predisposition toward the victim's side of the crime equation. How do you balance your personal experiences with your obligation under the law to protect the rights of the accused?
Much like my my friend, my nationalist opposing candidate, much like him, I would be willing to sacrifice what I believe in for what you believe in. Like I said earlier, I'm not for just nationalists, I'm not for just federalists, I'm for everybody, all of you.
All right. Rebuttal?
Yeah. Basically what I just said. But.
Okay. Rebuttal?
I think that's about it.
All right, gentlemen, very good job. Give them a round of applause. All right, guys, you've been sitting for an hour. Stand up. Get a little blood flowing. All right, stretch. All right, let's take a seat and keep going. We're on schedule. We need to stay on schedule. Next up will be your candidates for Secretary of State. First to the podium will be the Nationalist candidate.
Good morning, gentlemen of both Nationalist and Federalist parties. I am Austin Gaddis, the Nationalist candidate for Secretary of State of the great state of Magnolia. It is an honor and privilege to be here this morning as a candidate, and if elected, I will accept the duties of the position with gratitude and an undying determination to represent the great state of Magnolia to the best of my abilities. As your Secretary of State, I will be responsible for the state election process. I will maintain state records and archives. I will enforce the financial disclosures of political committees, and I will handle problems close to home. As you all can tell, the Secretary of State can easily be compared to a manager. And as your Secretary of State, I will manage and govern us, the citizens of Magnolia, to only the highest standards that distinguishes Magnolia from any other state. As one wise man once said, a genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. If elected, we will make our decisions based on what we see as just. Can I get an all right? All right. Can I get 2 all rights? All right. Can I get 3 all rights? All right, all right, all right. Please remember what I said and who said it, and vote for Gaddis, and you won't regret it. Thank you.
All right. Next up, the Federalist candidate.
Good morning. My name is Hayden Bowell. I'm from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I go to Presbyterian Christian School. About this time, I am usually on the golf course, but this morning I'm here asking for your vote for Secretary of State. For those of you who don't know what the position entitles, the Secretary of State handles all documents all documents of the acts from the governor. When required, the Secretary of State must have all papers, minutes, and vouchers for the legislature. Also, the Constitution designates the Secretary of State as keeper of the Capitol. I believe you will find me to be a man of highest integrity, honesty, and character. I have been a leader within my community, church, and school, which has given me valuable experience to carry out the duties of Secretary of State, such as being a 3-year counselor at Civitan Camp. This would be working with mentally and physically handicapped children. I have been a growth group leader for 7th and 8th graders in my church, and also I'm on the golf team at my school. And now, guys, golf is how would you say this? Golf is a sport that's often referred to as the game of honesty, integrity, and courtesy. If you don't have honesty, guys, you're not a golfer. Should put it that way. I would like to use the skills I have learned to help benefit the great state of Magnolia. I expect that this position will be filled with excitement and hard work, but I also know it will be unforgettable adventure and opportunity. I will work alongside you and the other leaders of Magnolia to help our state become the best we can be. I, Hayden Boutwell, would like to thank you for your time and attention this morning, and I would look forward to keeping the Capitol and serving you as Secretary of State.
All right, thank you. Let's have both candidates back at the podium. All right, gentlemen, one of the responsibilities of the Secretary of State is the protection of public lands. And one classification of public lands, most important in every county in Mississippi, well, most counties anyway, other than the Chickasaw Session, 16th section lands. 16th section lands are lands set aside for the benefit of public school districts. The timber that's cut from those lands, any lease payments on those lands, the land can't be bought and sold. Only leases of the land can be made for a certain period of time. Now, let's use a simple example. When I was a kid, back in the very early 1960s, a Coke cost a dime. A Snickers bar cost a nickel. So for 15 cents, the party was on. Now, today, that same purchase will run $3.25, $3.40, something of that nature. Well, prices from land leases have also grown in the same way through inflation. Now, a lot of the 16th section leases in Mississippi were let under laws passed in 1942 and were let in 1942 for 100 years at a single price. Now, that means that as time passes, the school children of Mississippi receive less and less revenue adjusted for inflation for support of the public schools. So it's been a battle starting with Dick Malpas, then Eric Clark, and then now Delbert Hoseman to fight hard to protect 16th section lease revenues. At the same time, 16th section leaseholders say that we have developed the property, we are paying taxes on the property in addition to our 16th section leases, and renegotiation of these leases create a burden on us that impedes not only our business operations, but future business operations. So I'm asking you with that as backdrop, what is your position on the responsibility of the Secretary of State to be a defender of 16th section land, and what's the appropriate means of balancing your duty to the school children with a pro-business attitude? First to you.
Well, definitely pro-business is a great thing, but the children in Magnolia, they are top priority for us because think about this. The children are the leaders, just like we are the leaders. They're going to come up. They're going to be under us. They're going to come up, and they will be in the schools. If we don't have schools and great schools for them to understand and learn, they can't become leaders.
Same question to you.
Okay, I want to keep the credibility going, and if that has been established for, and what year you said it was established? You said section 16?
16th section land. And this was set aside many years ago for the benefit of the school children by the legislature, and it's an ongoing responsibility. The renewal of leases and the ruling on the value of leases is part of the Secretary of State's job.
Okay. Well, since the 100 years are up here, we should continue to, protect that land. And we still need to keep the education for the kids because, like my opposition said, the children are the future, and pretty soon, they'll be the next leaders.
So should the period of leases be a more manageable length? Or is 100 years too long at one price?
100 years is too long, but since it's already been established, we shouldn't just try to change that, or else we're going to lose credibility.
What about 25 years?
25 years? That's better.
What about 10 years?
10 years? No, not so much.
Can I get 5 years? Nope. All right. Gentlemen, 16th section is certainly in Boys State and even more so in real life. 16th section is a bugaboo that has been difficult in state government. Second question that I would ask of you, the Secretary of State is also the person who defends the integrity of the ballot box in Magnolia, making sure that the concept of one man, one vote is protected, making sure that election fraud is sought out and punished. What is your attitude about your responsibilities as Secretary of State as it relates to election law?
Well, I feel that as Secretary of State, if I get elected, that our votes are very important. And if people want to try to hinder that whatsoever, that's just terrible. So we should try our best to use maybe more innovative systems to protect the voting rights and make sure that no one can really get fraud from it.
At the polls when you're voting, I would say there's people that kind of just do it for the job. They just need maybe just a little job for the afternoon. They go to the polls to sit and or move people to where they need to be. Maybe that we could put in an officer there to be watching, making sure that, hey, I've seen this guy before. Maybe he's voting twice on somebody else's name. So.
A concept that's growing in the country, hadn't yet come to Mississippi and therefore not to Magnolia. What about the concept of early voting, where you start a period 2 weeks, 10 days prior to the election where people can begin to vote in the days running up to Election Day or prior to Election Day? Is early voting a good thing, or should people go to the trouble of voting on Election Day as we have for many, many years?
It could be a very good thing if the problem with that is with early elections, if not everybody's going to go, and it might just even waste more money. If we can keep it to one day where everybody's going to go, I think we'll have less money spent on those early weeks and more votes on the other days.
How about early voting?
I do believe in earlier days to vote, because not only does that save other people, that saves time. Then more people will want to get out and go ahead and vote because they know it wouldn't be too many people there because they'll already be voting.
All right, I'll go back again. Online voting, yes, no?
No.
Yes, I
Why?
believe so. Because everything is going electronic these days. I think that we are becoming a more electronical based, and that, we have a green light. So I think we should move towards the electronics, definitely.
All right, rebuttal?
Well, I don't think election will work because it's too many times that certain big corporations get hacked by certain people and then they lose revenue. Same thing could happen that other people, and people could get elected, but they really haven't earned their vote. That's why I say no to online.
Rebuttal?
None at all.
All right, give these gentlemen a round of applause. Next, we'll hear from the candidates for Lieutenant Governor, first from the Federalist Party.
Good evening. I'm Sir Chauncey Mullins, running for Lieutenant Governor. W.C. Fields once told me that if you can never satisfy someone with the truth, baffle them with bull. I'm not going to do that to you. I hope that everyone knows the important role of Lieutenant Governor. He oversees the Senate, and he oversees the issues that are brought into the Senate. As overseeing the Senate, I will make sure that I appoint the right men to be the head of the Senate and make sure that our issues as Magnolia State are passed to the Senate and appointed to and looked at the right way. Now, some of our issues, one of the issues is school. Our school in Magnolia, it's not very good. Now, I have certain plans that could help that. Who all in here likes sleep? Raise your hand if you like sleep. You wish you had more of it this week, didn't you? How about we go school days, 9:45 to 4:30. I will tell you this, how this is a proven fact. The Old Line State, also Maryland State, which is #1 in education, is actually looking into doing this because this is the time that your brain begins to wake up, you have time to eat breakfast, and your metabolism and your whole body begins to function. Now, being in the Lieutenant Governor, it takes a lot of leadership and it takes a lot of servant. The qualifications I have are such as 2014 Class Vice President of my school at Tupelo Christian Preparatory School. I'm also Student Council Vice President, along with National Honor Society Vice President. These roles have taught me to lead and serve at the same time. I am willing to work with you to assist the governor in any way possible. Thank you. I'm Sir Chauncey Mullins.
Next, we'll hear from the Nationalist candidate.
Hey guys, my name is Palmer Duckworth, and I'm running for Lieutenant Governor. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, but my family is from Corinth and Ripley. My family is involved in many aspects of the political spectrum, including a grandfather who was a United States congressman, an uncle who was an ambassador to Portugal under George Bush, and our very own Steve Guyton is my cousin. So, my family is involved in all parts of Mississippi with everything from education to business to medical research. Putting all this together, it is my goal to give back to this glorious state of Mississippi, as well as this nation, by doing my part and starting right here and now by bringing everyone together. After all, what better place to start than right here at Mississippi Boys State? It's where my grandfather got his start and where I intend to do the same. Running for the office of Lieutenant Governor of Magnolia State, I intend on uniting Magnolia State by appointing senators from all parties, Nats, Feds, Independents. You are all no different from each other and that you all have a voice that you won't heard. I will make sure that each voice is heard. We need people to fill these chairs that come from all over the state, from Jackson to Corinth, Hattiesburg to the coast, Iuka to Biloxi, all the way back up to Macomb. I'm running as a nationalist, but think of me as your brother. Don't think of me as a nationalist. Think of me as your brother. Our current Mississippian Lieutenant Governor is Tate Reeves. Tate Reeves has a business background, and he presides over 52 senators. I too have a business background, and I believe from the brief time that I have been on this earth that I have, I know what it takes to be responsible with money. I will be fair and firm and responsible if elected as Lieutenant Governor for the state of Magnolia. So please, vote for me today, as it is my passion to serve others, and I will make it my duty to serve all of you.
All right. Let's go with a question for the candidates. We'll go first here. What is the appropriate relationship of the Lieutenant Governor to the committee chairman that he serves with? Should the committee chairman support the Lieutenant Governor, or should the Lieutenant Governor stand behind and support and enable the committee chairman?
Why not both? Why can't they support each other? Why can't they support each other?
And how?
Could you repeat the question?
Flesh that out. How can and should they support each other?
By checking with each other and working together to, by working together and, give me a second to think about this.
Okay. Same question to you.
I agree with my opponent that they should support each other and the chairman support the lieutenant. Most of all, it should be the chairman supporting the lieutenant the most. I mean, it is a mutual thing, but you can never have 50-50 something. As the lieutenant, he supports the governor, and the governor overall supports Magnolia, and I think that's what's best for the state.
Okay. Rebuttal?
I think he took the words out of my mouth.
Okay. Rebuttal? Any other remarks? Second question. There are times when the lieutenant governor and the governor may have honest differences about the top priorities in government. What's your take on what the relationship between the lieutenant governor and the governor should be in an effective government?
The lieutenant governor is like vice. He is like the vice president. He is under the governor. So I believe that they should work together to find a mutual thing that is better for Magnolia State, something that will be both good for all parties and all members of Magnolia State. And also, the governor should have the overall say of what it is. But it should be a mutual thing, but the governor thinking of him as in charge.
Okay. Same question.
I agree with my opponent. While the governor, could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Sir?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. What should be the appropriate relationship between the governor and the lieutenant governor when they have honest differences about what the priorities of government should be?
Well, because the governor has a higher power than the lieutenant governor, it should be the governor's, I should say, the governor's,
I think we're good. I think we're good on that. Let's move to sort of a third and final question, quick take question on leadership. How important is leadership to success as being lieutenant governor?
Leadership is the most important thing. A leader should know what he's doing, and he should be able to get his followers to take the right path and make sure that they succeed. And the lieutenant governor should make sure that all of his senators should have the right opinion to what is best for the state itself, and he should be the one, if an opinion is harmful to the state, then he should be able to decline such opinion.
Very good.
I like to believe in what the Beta Club, I believe it is Junior Beta Club, that believes in let me lead by serving others. It is important to lead, but it is also important to serve. And as your leader, it is serving. Lieutenant Governor will serve the people of Magnolia to assist the governor in any way possible and to make sure, like I said, the issues of Magnolia are brought in front of the Senate. And that is all I have.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Round of applause. All right, gentlemen, the time has come now for the gubernatorial debate here at Boys State. We have a sufficient amount of time left to do this right, and we're going to, and we're on schedule. Let's try to stay that way. In keeping with the back and forth of Federalist and Nationalist, it is the turn of the Nationalist Party to go first, and we invite the Nationalist candidate for governor to address the delegates.
Good morning, Magnolia. My name is Malik Pridgeon, and I am here to recruit you. I came here today not just for Nationalists or Federalists, but for Magnolians. I came here today to offer some encouragement and to ignite some passion in the hearts of Magnolians. I came here today because I need you. My fellow Magnolians, I'm here today because I believe that our civil liberties are at stake. I believe that government is abusing the power and wrongfully robbing us of our God-given and alienable rights. I'm here today because I believe in fighting for the common man while upholding equality, protecting civil liberties, and still promoting a democratic society. See, the word democracy is a term that derives from the Greek word demokratia, meaning rule of the people. It seems the current administration of Magnolia has forgotten who it's ran by and whom it exists to serve. Folks, Magnolia is a state by the people, for the people, and of the people. And I don't know about you, but that sounds good, pretty good to me. As a governor, I've used the slogan vision, passion, purpose. As I said while I was running the Nationalist Party convention, where there is no vision, the people perish. And I said that I would be damned if I ever let any of my people of Magnolia fall by the wayside and perish. So I've got a vision. I've got a vision that encompasses having a one-year trial of lowering the drinking age to 18 and seeing how this responsibility unfolds in the hands of young adult residents of Magnolia. My vision encompasses serving as an enabler of rights to such thing as education in areas where our children are falling behind by allowing privately funded and contracted partner schools in the state of Magnolia and allowing each county to decide whether or not if charter schools have a place in their communities. My vision also encompasses examining all state-funded programs and seeing what we can do without in order to rebuild trust funds. And lastly, my vision encompasses rebuilding our military both with supplies and morale by keeping them at home until their families and with their families until they have been able to be restored, back to holistic strength. Passion. I've got a passion to serve the people, not just to simply leave them alone, but to be a martyr for the state of Magnolia and preserving her people's right. I've got a deep burning desire to fight to put an end to injustices, because an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. I've got a passion to restore hope to our business owners and let them run their own businesses and decide whether or not smoking is right for their business. I've got a passion to not let government control how the state of Magnolia operates, instead to let the hardworking, tax-paying, completely capable residents of Magnolia decide what works best for them. Purpose. Do me a favor. Imagine a magnolia flower. It's made up of many parts, but today I'm going to talk about two, the sepal and the petal. The petal is what makes the magnolia so beautiful alongside the sepal. However, you can't have a magnolia without one or the other. The sepal is vibrant and independent in the way that it's represented because it's white versus the green of the sepal. Folks, you're the beautiful white sepal and I'm the plain old green. Without the other, you don't have a magnolia flower. I'm here today to tell you that I am nothing without you. That I can't make a flower without the independent minds that fill each and every one of these seats. That we as a state cannot be strong unless we come together. It's not about nationalists or federalists, but the flower that blossoms. Folks, as I've stated, I'm just a sepal, but with you, I'm a beautiful magnolia flower. I encourage you to elect me as governor so that we can restore your rights as people and independent thinkers, so that together we can be beautiful magnolias on a tree that other states look up to because of our freedom to choose, think, act, and blossom. Now do me a favor, stand on your feet real quick. You know, in a few hours the polls will open. I strongly encourage you to elect me as your governor. I want you to turn up and turn down for nothing. So after each time I say turn up, I want you to say turn down for what? You ready? Turn up! Turn down for what? I said turn up! Turn down for what? All right, thank you guys so much. God bless you. God bless the great state of Magnolia. And God bless the United States of America.
And now the Federalist candidate for governor of Boise State.
Hello, my name is Drew Roy, and I'm running for governor for this great state of Magnolia. Leadership. This entire week, every speaker that we've had has talked about us and our qualities as leaders and how we are the future of this state and America. But really, you know, what is the best example of leadership? I want you, each and every one of you, to think in your minds right now, who is the greatest leader that has ever existed that you know of? Just think it to yourself. Now, what quality does that person possess that you want? What makes them the greatest leader ever? Because he's governor, I am the chief legislator, the chief executive officer, and the chief of state. That's what the governor does. But what makes a great leader? For myself, personally, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is the greatest example of leadership I know. He came from the highest of high. No one is higher than him, the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords. Yet he came and hung out with dirty fishermen and tax collectors that people hated and lepers that were outcast. And what did he do? He did not command them. He did not get up and say, do this, do that. But he said, you know, I love you, brothers, and here, let me wash your feet. Let me wash your feet. Now, what is the purpose of government? What is it? As Abraham Lincoln put it greatly in his Gettysburg Address, he said, and I quote, "Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth." For the people. The government is not, you know, to tell you what to do. It is to serve the people of Magnolia. And as governor, I plan, and whoever is elected with me as the other officers, we are your servants today. Government is too focused on feds or Nats or Democrats or Republicans or, you know, what bills passing here, what's doing there, and it's all in the interest of who is leading. Inside deals, things such as that, but as your leader of Magnolia, I'll humble myself and I'll ask, what would you have me do for you? So if you elect me as Governor of Magnolia, I will do my best to serve you as humbly as I know how, as my Lord Jesus would serve each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right. Both candidates return to the podium. All right, in the interest of time, we're going to ask one question of these gubernatorial candidates. We're going to give them a little bit of extra time to answer that one question. Since we went first in the speech to the Nationalist, we'll go first on the question to the Federalist. Candidate, what makes your party's platform better than that of your opponents to lead Magnolia?
My party's platform, as we've all covered in the different issues, 1 through 5, what makes our party's platform the best is that we didn't, as an executive committee, we didn't sit in one room and say, all right, 25 folks decide on it and then come out and tell each and every one of you what to think about these issues. No, we sat down together and had different arguments for and against each point, and as a people, as a unified body, we did what was best for the people of the United States of America.
Same question to you. What makes your party's platform superior to that of your opponents in leading the state of Magnolia?
Well, most importantly, I think what makes us a better party is that we don't forget where we come from. We're nationalists in Magnolia, in the great United States of America, and it's about the people. And our whole party versus the Federalist Party is about doing what is right for the people. For instance, in the whole smoking issue, we decided, they just came up with the idea that they were going to not allow for smoking to be in businesses. Well, we said, hey, that should be left up to the business owners. We should let the business owners decide whether or not smoking should be allowed in their business. It's about what works for you. Charter schools, we didn't say, hey, you know what, we're not going to allow charter schools in our state. But we said, let it be done by county and see what works for them. After all, it's about doing what's better for the people. And as far as the whole executive committee thing, each county elected those people to do it. So obviously they trusted them with the decisions at hand. And it wasn't that we were not allowing our fellow nationalist members to consult with us. It was just that we felt that unity was key and that our issues should be brought together in a way that showed that we were united before we were brought the issues out to our party.
All right. All right, gentlemen. You have heard the candidates for the Big 8 offices at the 2013 Boys State. Now it's up to you as delegates to get out and vote and choose your leadership. Good luck to you.
Sir.